Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to Female Filmmakers Fuse with Alexa Polar, only on LA Talk Radio.
Thank you for listening. This is Female Filmmakers Fuse. I'm your host, Alexa Polar. I have Robin Pabello here co-hosting. Robin, you okay?
Hi. Happy Sunday. I'm having problems with my headphones staying on my head.
That's what happens when you do it last minute.
It's not last minute. Look, it's a funky, I have a tiny head.
Okay. Real quick, you can call in today. Oh, every day. Not every day. I'm sorry.
Yeah, every day you can call in.
Okay. 818-602-4929. That's 818-602-4929.
You can also find us on Google Play or iTunes, or you can listen live every Sunday from noon to 1 on LA Talk Radio, Channel 2. And, or you can download our podcast or the app. That's free too.
But
God,
I also
so weird.
She's gonna keep talking because she likes the way she sounds.
No, I don't. It sounds really strange.
You can also find us on YouTube.
We
started putting it on YouTube. This would be on in the next 2 days on YouTube. That way, it's easier to share. I think he wants to come in. So you can. That's my nephew. It's okay. You can. He's sitting in. So Brendan's here too. Anyhow, you can find it on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and share it and
hit the bell.
Yeah, for notifications. Today, our awesome guest. So, what is that? She's not believing me right now, but I honestly, you just, I got a little history lesson here today from Sarita Callender, correct? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Pre-show. We got a pre-show.
We did. It was, this is amazing. I felt like I was sitting in, the History Channel, and I was learning so much.
Oh, yeah. You guys will hear. I was like, save this for the show. It's so good. The electrician in me was like, whoa.
Sarita, real quick, what is it that you do?
I am...
You want to get closer, or you can bring it a little closer to it.
I am CEO of Unicorn and Cobra Films, writer, producer, and director.
She likes the word unicorn, I think is what it is.
I do. Mermaid, unicorn, Pegasus, fluffy clouds.
Okay.
Contrary to the imagery of fluffy unicorns and stuff, I actually predominantly love horror movies. Sci-fi, fantasy, anything dark and disturbing.
Okay.
Now, that's not all we make. We do make other things too.
Okay.
So hopefully we're going to be making films for everybody. We've made some amazing connections since I opened my office here in Hollywood.
Okay.
They're originally coming from England. I've actually been in the industry since I was 5 years old.
5? Oh my gosh.
I was literally spotted by a talent scout while I was shopping with my mom.
Okay.
That's the way you do it, folks.
And he came up to my mom and he's like, I want to put your daughter on stage. And my mom's like, I don't think so. But I was like, come on, let's do it, it'll be fun. I've always been an outgoing person. It's you can't stop me talking once I start.
Not a problem here.
There's no problem
So my
at all.
mom was like, she took his card and she was like, I'll talk to my husband. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you're not going to, so I will. So we got home and I was like, Daddy, this guy wants me to go on stage. And he was like, I think that would be a really good use for your energy.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I starred in my first performance when I was 5 years old. I had one line and I had to run to front center and yell out this line, and the audience cheered and clapped and were like, oh, she's and I was hooked. That was it.
That was it.
Done.
That was
this
it.
industry, that was it. The rest of my life, this is what I wanted to do. I took drama in school. I joined an operatic and dramatic group. I've been performing on stage up until the millennium. when I suffered a spinal injury.
Ooh.
And I actually spent 3.5 years in a wheelchair.
Oh my goodness.
So it's not easy to dance around on stage
No.
when you can't get on stage.
Well, plus the stage, which a lot of people don't know, is an incline towards toward down stage. So that way when the audience is, sitting in, God, I sound so loud. So
Yes. It's an incline down stage.
So I'm not going to listen to myself.
Okay.
So it's an incline down stage. So like when the audience is looking, they can see the back, performers and such. So,
Even getting on stage was impossible back then because
really?
hardly any places had been made access,
Yeah.
disabled
Wheelchair.
access friendly.
That's, yes.
So just getting up onto the stage was like those really steep, narrow steps.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I was just like, okay, I'm going to retire. But I'd already been published as a writer.
Nice.
I won the Editor's Choice Award for Outstanding Achievement in a Literary Field twice.
Nice.
Congrats.
So
Wow.
I started concentrating more on my writing. I've been published, hard copy and digital, on both sides of the Atlantic. When I actually opened my office, started here, I was actually supposed to start as a writer-director for a firm that I was going to be starting with the actor Ivory Ocean. He was in movies including The Mask with Jim Carrey.
Yep.
He's been in like all the major TV shows like General Hospital, NYPD Blue, like all that. Since before I was born. Like this guy was a legend.
Right.
And 6 months after he moved here, got settled, got an apartment, he died.
Oh no.
So I was like, so what do I do now? So I
Right.
had to talk to my immigration attorney. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, the job I came here for doesn't exist.
Right.
This
'Cause-
guy that I was supposed to start the company with died. What happens now?
Right.
So she told me that the visa I was on basically wasn't limited. So I could pretty much take any job as long as I didn't need sponsorship.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, so if I start up as a self-employed person without sponsorship, as long as I can cover my rent, I'm good, right?
Right.
And she's like, yeah, basically. So using my writing skills, I became an SEO expert.
Okay.
That was enough to pay the rent. You may have seen my writing if you Google a company anywhere in the United States. I've written the Google, Bing, Yahoo descriptions as well as company bios for more than 8,500 businesses.
Wow. Wow.
Nice.
That's keeping you busy, that's for
It
sure.
kept me busy, yeah. But all the time, the entertainment industry was like calling me back. I received an invitation to an exclusive Hollywood party. Like, if your name is not on the guest list, you cannot get in. There's no queues outside the door. And I'm like, I don't even know this person. Like, how did I get invited to this event?
Uh-huh.
And it was because of a musician I knew that I was friends with, and he said to the host of the party, "You've got to have this girl." So I was like, "Wow." I made that much of an impression on this guy. But I mean, one of the things I've been concentrating on is because I work in the independent industry, I'm looking at the crossover between the independent movie industry and the independent music industry. Because for a lot of people, one of the biggest problems with making an independent movie is either one, affording the licensing fees to have already existing music, or finding somebody who's of a good enough quality that nobody's ever heard of to score
The music.
soundtrack.
Yeah.
Which is not an easy thing to do.
No.
You can't just score a movie.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing though. I recently was in DC with my cousin visiting, and so we went to watch Get Out with the orchestra live, and it was the premiere of it, and she
Get
surprised
Out.
me.
Did you really?
Get Out, I did. And it was quite lovely because it was a premiere, and she had surprised me with the tickets, and we stayed afterwards for the Q&A to speak with the composer. And there was only like a handful of us, maybe like 20 people out of like thousands that stayed. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to talk to this guy. So we were just curious as to how he got his start. And so what had happened is that he couldn't get very far in the music industry, but what had happened is that he scored some small things and then put it on YouTube. And then the director, Jordan Peele, reached out to him because he found him on YouTube. So like that original creativity in that music, it's out there. You just have to find the right person. So just saying, it's possible to find.
I was going to say that's what I've done. And
Amazing.
I'm pleased to hear that my original soundtrack composer is a female.
Woo!
Nice.
Even better.
She is also from England.
Okay.
Oh,
Very cool.
small world.
She is absolutely amazing. I don't honestly remember where I heard the piece of music. It was an existing song that she had composed and she was about to put it on an album. And somehow, like through a connection on Facebook or something, I saw it on my feed and I clicked on it. And at that exact moment, I had been working on a final draft of a script for a movie that we're about to shoot, hopefully in January of next year. And I heard this piece of music and the final scene was in my head, and I'm just like, I need that piece of music. That is the perfect piece of music for the final scene of this movie. So I reached out to her and I said, look, I know you don't know me, but this song came up on somebody else's feed on my Facebook, and I want this piece of music for my movie. And she was like, oh my God, really? And she was like, I'd never thought about doing music for movies. So I sent her a copy of the script, like we did all the NDAs and everything. So a copy of the script, talked it over, and I was like, and she was like, do you want me to do the music for the rest of the movie so it all matches?
Oh, wow.
Yes, please.
And I'm like, yeah.
Oh, that's so amazing.
So she's going to do the original score for the whole movie, and she's already, like, even though we're not ready to go yet, like, she's read the script and she's already kind of got an idea of what it should sound like.
Oh my goodness.
So she keeps sending me these little, you know, sort of like sound bites of songs, and she was like, do you think this would go with this scene? Do you think, is this the right feel for this scene? And I'm like, you can read my mind. It's like when I put that piece of music to that scene and I'm watching like the movie in my head, it matches. It's like, this is meant to be. So I said to her, like, if I asked you to do a little piece of music on this style or a little, you know, like I would send her links to YouTube. And I'd be like, can you do me something like this, but like not too similar? Because obviously we don't want copyright issues and all that.
Correct. Yeah.
But I need this kind of feel. So now, probably once or twice a week, she's like, oh, I finished putting this together, and she'll send me something over and she goes, I think it was for this project. And I'm like, yes, it was. I could just tell from listening to it. I'm like, that was the feel I was going for.
Wow.
So I'm like, yeah. So she's going to be doing the original score for all our movies, and I would put her up there with the likes of Danny Elfman.
Wow.
With her amount of talent and versatility.
Yeah.
And I think it would be absolutely amazing if, like, you know, 5-6 years from now, people are looking at her as much as going after people like Danny Elfman for you know, sort of like soundtracks for movies, because it's like, why does it always have to be the guys? It's like when you start listing you know, major soundtrack artists for movies, and it's like, guy, where are the girls?
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't. Well, so
Yeah.
that's the thing, though. Sometimes you don't know that was, like she said, I didn't know. I didn't think to write music for a movie score.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're unaware of what is possible because it wasn't presented to you, or it's not in like your color wheel because you didn't know somebody. So you, by then, like somehow the way you guys connected have opened and introduced something new to her. So, I mean, that's brilliant.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of positions in the industry that a lot of females aren't aware that they can do or that it exists. Because I talk to a lot of people and they'll do different things and never think that can also apply, you know, and not know that there is an actual title for that, you know, and so it's just mind blowing. And I think it's just giving people the opportunity, which is what you did with this lady, which is great, you know.
Well, it was one of the things that I kind of do big time here now is I'm actually affiliated with 2 radio stations who do talent shows throughout the years to spot new talent. I have got 5 new music artists connected to movies in various different capacities, from acting to songs to soundtrack. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely talent out there, and one of the great things with the independent industry is you can talk direct one-on-one, you can agree prices, rates, and everything else.
Right.
And sort of go from there, rather than have to go, like, I hate a movie where you can tell a song has been placed because that's the hot song in the charts right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't add to the feel of the movie, it doesn't add to the feel of the scene, and the lyrics are right where you're trying to listen to what the actors are saying.
Yeah.
Because they haven't placed the music properly.
And I think it's because, like what you said, you hit the nail right there, is where what's in now, and so they're trying to get a certain demographic.
I know where she's going with this one.
Hidden Figures.
Well, okay, so Hidden Figures, but Great Gatsby.
Great Gatsby. I was going to go there too.
There's a lot of period pieces, because that's my sweet genre.
Yeah.
I love period pieces and musicals, but
we have one of each.
Oh, lovely.
Nice.
Okay, well, I'm a fan already. So, we went to go watch both of these movies and these films, and it started off good, and then it started off really well, and then all of a sudden it was like, why is this music here? And I just kind of was like, I don't know, but
it took me away. Hidden Figures, such a good story. The performance, acting wise, was great. There's like so many good things about that, and what did it, and don't get me wrong, I love Pharrell. I think he's great. He's super talented.
Very smart businessman.
Very smart businessman. I don't think that music belonged in Hidden Figures. Hidden Figures was from the 60s. It didn't make sense. 50s, 60s. It didn't make sense to have music from now.
But that was the only way that...
And it was using the transitions. And that sucks, because the transitions are sometimes the most important, like moving,
connecting pieces. Yeah.
So it's like it takes you away. You're like sitting there, you're getting into the story, and all of a sudden you're like, wait, what happened?
That could have been just you though too. So if you think about that, because
I don't think it was.
Demographically,
Brendan, you're younger.
I mean, I don't like it when movies place like you said, like music that's in period pieces. It doesn't belong. It just sticks out.
Do you remember Hidden Figures? Have you seen it?
I haven't seen that, no.
Okay, now you have homework.
Okay.
Great Gatsby.
Yeah, I saw that. I wasn't a big fan of that movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
To me, I wasn't. I think it could have been done differently in so many. Okay, we're not going to get into that. We're going to discuss the music aspect. Yeah. But Beyonce, super talented lady. Love her.
Do not
try to make Beyonce music now and try to. You're not. What is it? Jukebox. Oh my God, I love that group.
Postmodern Jukebox.
Thank you, Postmodern Jukebox. They know how to do it, but
that's the same exact thing. They basically no. They're taking covers and they're throwing it back.
Right, but I
that's what Beyonce did with it.
I wouldn't expect covers in a 1920s piece. I would want, if you can't get the original music, I would expect original
what it comes
scores,
down to a boilerplate.
Right?
Well,
bottom line, it's money.
If you're supposed to be that talented, you should be able to construct something which suits the piece. If it's a period piece, the one that we've got is actually going back a long time. We're actually going to the mid 1700s.
Oh wow! So you got a lot of the the piano. I was just like, sorry.
We have a lot of harpsichord music.
I was going to say it's not piano.
And violins. We've got a lot of harpsichord and violins for that. And although there will be some songs with lyrics, it will be the actors' voices themselves who are going to be doing the lyrics for some of the chain gang type songs.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, my point was that it just comes down to like, producing and trying to like market it, and that's the reason why they're just trying to like get a huge demographic, because that's what would pull you in.
I think they would have. Any Beyonce fan would have wanted to hear something new. And they would have been thrilled to listen to something that was a complete throwback if she did something more original, instead of completely doing every single hit she had and just tweaking it to sound like it was a 1920s song. Because the lyrics just didn't match.
Right. I don't think that was her choice. I think it was she was approached to have her song.
It.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, it's going to be a major motion picture. Think about that.
But she didn't do all the Great Gatsby songs. She also covered a Amy Winehouse song, just so that I let you know.
On the Great Gatsby?
Yeah,
she did. Okay, I didn't know that. I just, that took me away. I mean, there's a lot of things that took me away from that film, but the music was definitely one of them, the big parts that I disliked?
I mean, one of the other aspects with regards to major recording artists is with the contract they have with whichever label they're signed to, they are limited as to what they can actually do.
Exactly.
So one of the other things which really deters me as an independent filmmaker for even going after a major recording artist to perform musically is that they may not be able to give me what I need for that movie because their contract says no.
Yep.
So it's like I would much rather work with people who can give me exactly what I want.
Right.
Like, you may not have heard of the artist, but as soon as you hear them, you're like, oh my God, that piece of music is amazing and it really matches this scene.
Yeah.
Who is it? So, like, for some of our movies, we've already got a verbal agreement on soundtrack distribution for the soundtracks to some of our movies because we've got cool music.
Nice.
My original soundtrack composer in England, she's the wife of one half of the Artful Dodger, who were music producers for people like Craig David. So, like, they've been in the industry a long time. They know their way around the industry, and they want to work with me. So
That's awesome.
I am like, wow. So yeah, we have great music. Some of the artists that we're working with, we have a young kid. He's just turned 18. And he's already had some amazing hits. And he wants to be in my movie.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he wants to do music for my movies. And he has a really, like, soulful voice. His songs are really upbeat and have great messages. And I'm like, yeah, I can definitely work with this guy.
Yeah.
We've got a young girl. She's also just turned 18, who has very positive messages, especially for the girls. And I was like, I know exactly which movie I want her for. Because one of our movies is a musical.
Yes.
It's a comedy superhero movie.
Oh, wow. That's
And it's about people who you wouldn't expect to be a superhero are in their own special way.
Yes.
And the message in her songs basically encourages people to find out who they really are before they give in to other things. So, like, before girls rush out and get married, like, find out who you are, start a business, you know, have things, you know.
Find out what your superpower is before you get locked away.
So
Just kidding.
like,
Sorry. Dude, that came out totally wrong. I'm totally against, for marriage. Just,
how many Freudian slips can Robin do today?
I'm totally a for.
Okay, we'll stop you there. Please go on.
So I just saw it as being, you know, like the perfect match. So I'm like, I want her in the movie. She can use some of her songs with those kind of messages, and she would be one of the people with a superpower.
That's great. That's great. And this is some of the stuff is the films that you guys are going to be doing. Were they written by you, or you have other filmmakers?
I've written a couple of them. I don't know if you'd be able to tell they were written by me when you see them.
Okay.
But I do have a writer, a young man from England. We met in a Brits in LA chat room group on Facebook.
Okay.
He's incredibly shy, incredibly introvert. It took months of coaxing him to meet for a cup of coffee to talk about his writing.
Wow.
And he brought me some examples. And I was like, seriously, you've never considered getting these published? And he was like, they're not good enough.
Wow.
And I'm like, they are. So I've already taken on 3 of his treatments, and we're working together to adapt them into scripts.
Nice.
One of them is the one that we're hoping to start shooting in January. It's called The Girl in a Coma. It's about a girl who was found at a body dump site, but she wasn't quite dead. She's in a coma. She's rushed into hospital, and even though she's in a coma, she manages to reach out to somebody to tell her story.
Oh, wow.
And he doesn't understand what's happening, and the police suspect him of committing the crimes because he knows too much about what's going on.
Okay, I want to watch this already.
We already have some amazing people attached to the movie. You may have heard of the actor Lester Spate. He was in the Transformers Dark of the Moon.
Okay.
He's also the voice of Augustus Cole from the Gears of War franchise.
Nice, very nice.
One of the biggest gaming franchise on the planet.
Yeah.
We have Noah Hathaway from The Neverending Story.
Oh
wow.
my goodness. Sorry. Bring it back.
I'm just trying to think who else we've already, I've had so much paperwork handed in for projects and stuff.
And can I ask, did they approach you or did you approach them?
I've approached most of the people that are now cast for The Girl in a Coma. Some of them have reached out to me to sort of see if, they know somebody who's attached to the movie. They like the sound of it, what they've heard about it, and want to be part of it.
Yeah.
I've also I get emails frequently from people like, do you have a soundtrack composer? Do you have a DP? Do you have a this? Do you have a that?
You're like, yes.
Yes, Robin, stop emailing.
This is the first time I'm meeting you.
So yeah, we've got a great crew coming together. We've got a great cast coming together. We do have 2 big names that we want to go after. One we are in talks with.
Wonderful. Good vibes for that.
His name is Cody Smith McPhee.
Okay.
He plays Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
In the
X-Men
new
franchise.
X-Men.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
His father was already signed on for the movie.
Really?
Oh, wow. Okay.
His father Andy and I, we've known each other for some time. So Andy has a part in the movie, and sort of reached out, and his daughter is also interested. I'm hoping to have her play the girl in the coma.
Oh my goodness, that'd be cool.
So that would be fantastic. And then there's my big name I'm hoping to go after very, very soon. We're in talks about getting financing completed, and then we can move forward with it.
Awesome.
There's a couple of other people that we've been in talks with who, upon funding being complete, are on board. I know how much it's going to cost to have them. They're already interested. I'm just going to make sure that I can pay them.
Right.
So you will recognize quite a few faces. You will recognize quite a few names coming up.
That's great. I really hope it works out. I mean, it sounds like it's going to, because it sounds like an amazing story.
So for listeners, because you have been in the industry for so long, you're kind of grandfathered in. So, but you're the first generation in your family.
Yeah.
So since you started at 5.
My family have been either sailors or electricians.
Okay.
No, that's not bad. Well, so for anyone that's listening, you're a self-made woman. You were discovered at 5. You shifted. What tidbits would you give them for starting a new business? I mean, you came here on a whim in minds of starting a business with somebody, and unfortunately he passed. Yeah. So then you took it upon yourself and the initiative to make another business. So if you were, for all the listeners that are listening in, what kind of tidbits and advice could you give to them?
Especially with independent filmmaking, because I know a lot of people get scared with that when they're trying to start off.
That is the main thing. It's don't be scared. If you don't ask, the answer will be no.
Right.
If you do ask, there's a good chance that somebody will say maybe, we'll think about it. Mm-hmm. And there's a good chance that some people will say yes. Yeah. Make sure you get out there. Look for, there's plenty of events advertised, sort of red carpet premieres, pre-Oscar parties and stuff that go on in this area. Mm-hmm. Get yourself on a couple of invite lists, get known by people, and you'll make some wonderful connections. It does help, I think, if in the background you have some kind of, I have a degree in finance, so I understand
the money aspect
of a business.
Yeah.
To have something like that, or a business, a degree in some kind of business management.
Right.
So you understand the behind the scenes stuff.
Right.
With the entertainment industry, it is really unique. It's not like any other business.
Right.
While you're making a product, you make one of that product, but you can sell it over and over and over and over.
Right. That's true. Very true.
Working on those residuals.
Yeah. So on that side of things, it's you've got to make sure that for each movie you make, it is a unique piece, and it is a perfect piece. Like, don't rush into making it. Don't think, well, I've got $15,000 and a couple of friends who can help me this weekend, because if that's what people see of you, they're going to assume that's the best you can give them.
Right.
Wait until you've got it together. Wait until the right time, and so like reach for the stars. Go after the big names. I mean, we were talking about Hidden Figures earlier. The young boy in there, the actor Ashton Tyler, I've already got him signed on to a couple of my movies.
Nice.
So even though, like, he's 11 years old, he's already done Hidden Figures. He's already done Black Panther. He is going far.
Yeah.
And I've already spoke to him. We've met face to face. I love him to pieces, and he loves my cooking. And I make quesadillas, but I put bacon in, and he loves.
That's it. That was you shouldn't given out your secret ingredient. That was it. Sort of like reach out. Don't be scared. Don't think because somebody is a huge A-lister that they're out of reach. Right.
Because for a lot of them, if it's a project that they are in love with, if it's on a topic that is strong and means something to them, you'll be surprised who you can get.
Right.
I was connected outside of the industry. I was actually on the crew for the Department of Homeland Security's public service announcement commercials going around raising awareness for human trafficking.
Okay.
And somebody major A-lister saw it, wanted to be part of it. So one of the guys from the Department of Homeland Security has connected me to this person. We do have a movie coming up which involves human trafficking, so we've already got an A-lister, but I can't mention who it is because we don't have paperwork on that.
Right.
But sort of like put yourself out there.
Yeah.
I mean, if you stay in your house and you don't go to any events and you don't try, it won't happen.
Yeah, that's true.
I've also, one of the things I've stated right from the start is my company will always have an open door policy.
Okay.
Where I don't want you to send me your script.
I'm glad you said that because,
But
yeah.
if you have an idea, send me an email, admin@unicornandcobrafilms.com.
Okay.
And tell me that you have an idea. Let me send you an NDA.
Yep.
Let's sign that protection first.
That's very fair of you because a lot of times people submit and then they end up seeing it a year later and it's gone.
Yeah,
with that
I
company.
want people to be protected just as I want my own work protected.
That's awesome.
So NDAs, registering scripts with the Writers Guild, making sure you've got copyright on them, making sure that everybody has those protections.
And it's really not that expensive. People think it's super expensive. You don't need a lawyer to do that. Like copywriting, like literally you can go online, you could do it yourself. I believe it's $35.
Yeah.
$35
and also
to do it.
to register your script with the Writers Guild.
$25.
$25.
Yeah, depending if you're with the guild or not. So
Yeah.
So it's really not that much money. I've heard a lot of writers where they freak out and they hire a lawyer and the lawyer charges them hundreds to thousands of dollars when it's a $35 fee.
Yeah.
Literally,
Knowledge.
it's $35.
But doing the research, like she said, if you don't get out there and you're not doing the research and you're not being seen, like you don't even know, like the self-made woman right here.
Yep.
So continue so they can reach out to you.
Yeah, by all means. I mean, my contact information is on IMDb under Unicorn and Cobra Films, production company. My website, unicornandcobrafilms.com. There's a little drop us a line, just click straight on it. Unicorn and Cobra Films has a YouTube channel, we have Instagram, we have Twitter. Just look up Unicorn and Cobra Films.
You'll find it all.
You'll find it.
I like the unicorn part. The Cobra part, it kind of scares me. Just like
I think it's totally just though, because when I think of it, it makes me think of like an old school like Scottish emblem or like family crest.
Oh,
there it is.
She's showing us her tats. That's tattoos. Sorry,
Yes.
I should really. If someone
You want to stop too?
Yeah. Let's repo that conversation. Reel it back, Alexa.
her tattoos. I
Yes.
apologize. I know I said it correctly, but someone may have heard it incorrectly.
That's how you brand your company.
Yeah.
Every time I go out,
There you go.
when people start seeing it on billboards, they'll be like, oh, I know her.
That's so great. That's the
Oh
way to
my
go.
goodness.
That's the way to go. So you got some projects going on. You have your own company.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. I'm glad, Robin, that you asked what advice she can give
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
starting that, because I know it's not an easy thing. And
No, it's not. I mean, for a lot of people, they have an idea for a movie, but then just don't know what to do. And I think for a lot of people, it is a great shame that they have a great idea for a movie, take it to the wrong person,
Oh yeah.
and they lose control of it. It ends up being, they see it a year later, and it's been chopped and, and then they can't really fix it. It's like, if you then make your own movie later on, like 5 years down the line, if you were the one that had the idea for, let's take something like John Wick. Let's say that was your idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you took it to someone without an NDA, without any protection on it, and they're like, oh, I don't think this is going anywhere, mate. Just go and forget about it. And so you're like, oh, okay. And then you see it up on the big screen, and it's like, okay, the name may have been changed, the location may have been changed, but it's like, that's my storyline.
Oh yeah.
What? But then you can't make a movie with that storyline with, because everybody's going, oh, you're just copying John Wick. So,
Because it's a bigger company that has stolen it from you, and that's the heartbreak of it. There's a couple that I know, and they're in the industry, and I just recently found out that they're probably going to leave the business just because things aren't going their way, and like they started a business and all that jazz, and I was just like, just hold on to it. Like, it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in 1-2 years, especially if this is new to you. Like, you have to keep going.
Exactly. Timeline is a major thing. That was something even I didn't fully appreciate to begin with until I'd spoken with Ivory, gotten to know him. Like, we've been friends for 15 years before talking about actually combining our talents and, getting this company up and running.
Yeah.
So all the time I was learning from him what's involved. And when you see things like last year's Oscars Hacksaw Ridge.
Oh, okay.
It took 15 years for that movie to get to the big screen.
yeah.
I don't want my movies to take that long to get, I have things I want to do.
Absolutely.
I've got so many movies to make. I can't wait 15 years to get the first one out.
Yeah, for one movie especially.
Yeah. So I'm looking at right now, from when I decided to go ahead, start Unicorn and Cobra Films by myself, it's 3 years this month.
Wow.
And I've just finished directing a couple of scenes for a movie for somebody else, starring Morgan Freeman, Lester Spate, and a music artist. He was like a writer of a lot of songs. Like, he's written for all of the big names.
Okay.
So this was like his movie debut.
Okay.
I've just done this PSA for the Department of Homeland Security, and we should be ready to start shooting The Girl in a Coma in January. So I'm like, 3 years? For me, that's too long. But for a lot of the people I'm working with on this, they're like, how long has this taken you to get here? I'm like, 3 years. And they're like, what?
Yeah. That's fast.
Most of them are talking 5 to 10 years to get a
Correct.
project going.
Yeah.
So yeah, so much of it is the connections. It's like the people I know, not just the actors, but the crew, the connections I've made. We've got people who have worked on movies, like my crew have worked on the Resident Evil franchise, the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, Avatar, like all these big movies. They know what they're doing.
Right.
So even if I'm not very well known, even if I'm not the name behind the project, when I go and talk to financiers, when I go and talk to actors, when I go and talk to crew and say, oh, so and so and so and so, oh yeah, I know whose work. Yeah, count me in.
Yeah.
You're like, wow. And yeah, you do have those moments where you're like, they're taking me seriously. This is amazing. Because especially as a woman, especially as a blonde, and I sound ridiculously young, right?
You sound young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I'm talking to people on the phone, or when they first meet me, they're like, oh, so where's your boss? They look at me and think I'm the secretary or something. I'm like, no, I am Unicorn and Cobra Films.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh.
They must be in such disbelief all the time.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is a constant fight. And I know, a woman in this industry is a bit of an affront to some guys. It's like, this is our safe area. What are you doing here? Type thing. But persist. It's like, if you have a good idea, if you have a dream, don't let somebody else steal it, and don't just leave it on the back burner and forget it.
Yeah. And I gotta say, it does happen to not just people that are starting up, like up and comers. It happens to people that have been in the industry for a very long time. Like Steven Rogers, he's a writer, and he's written Hope Floats. I mean, there's a ton of movies that he was a writer to, and I saw him speak with Allison Janney, right, for I, Tonya. So he was the one that wrote I, Tonya. And the reason why he did that independently, and you wouldn't think that's an independent film, but it was. And the reason why he did it that way was because all his other movies, there were major studios. And he was always getting hired. Always. Every movie that you've seen, you've heard of his movies. But he said that he didn't like it because he would be the hired writer. He'd be the name on it because he was already recognized for being that writer. And then when he go to the premiere, it was different. He's like, I wish they would just come up to me and say, hey, we're going to change this. What do you suggest? What do you think? Because he created the story.
So they changed it without his permission.
Technically, he sold the script. So you sell your rights. So just for people that are listening, I'm not a writer. I don't know. I just know that is something that happens with writers, is that when you're referring to, like, they get chopped off and they're different, but you release the rights to your film because it's being purchased, and they have, I think a regular standard contract is like they have a year for it to be optioned.
Right, you can option it. A lot of writers make money off of being off of optioning things, where they know they have a feeling like it's not going to get done, but they need to pay rent or whatever, and they'll option their script for, depending on how much they can get for it. Right. And then it gets shelved, and hopefully they get a decent contract where they know they're going to get the script right back. But I'm just making that as an example because, it happens to people even that are veterans in the industry. You just got to know. And he got fed up, and he did I, Tonya, and look where he's at. Because every script he wrote, because he was friends with Allison Janney, he's like, I have this part for her. And they're like, yeah, that's great. You're the writer. Thank you for the script. And he was like, oh, okay. So every script he wrote a part with his friend in mind. And she would have to come in and audition. And for the most part, that was a courtesy for him, but they already knew who they wanted.
Yeah.
And so he said he got fed up, and he said, I'm going to do this independently. And then that's what he did. And then I, Tonya went, it did phenomenal, I think. So it's just like, that's just as an example, because it happens. You just have to be aware of it. And people, even in the industry that are veterans in the industry, they get fed up, and then they do things like on their own because they don't want to wait. They get tired of waiting or being set aside, and it's not that it's, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. It just depends on what you want. Some people don't care, not that they don't care, but it's not, they're just there because they want to get the help from Paramount or Warner Brothers or whoever the major studios are, and it's kind of like, it's an easy paycheck. I still love what I'm doing. I don't have to go to that extreme. And then there's some people that have a little bit more passion to it and want to be more involved. So it just depends on what you want to do, and you're right. You just have to know that and be consistent with it.
Yeah. One thing at Unicorn and Cobra Films, we do not option scripts.
Okay.
If NDAs have been signed and we talk about things, and this person has brought me like a piece that they've written because it's based on what's happened to them, or it's a passion piece, or it's a dream, like it's their story, I'm going to tell their story. Now, I will sit with them, and I may make a few alterations or suggest alterations to the script because I'm seeing it play. Right. And it's like, you were saying about transitions are so important, and it's like, this scene into this scene, we need a filler. We need something to make it make
piece
sense.
It together.
Yeah. So, I will suggest small changes, but I'm not going to change that person's story. If they've brought it to me and they want that made into a movie, that's what gets made.
That's right.
if you want to sell me a script and you really don't care about the piece, and I can see that the script has merit, could be made into a movie, yeah, we'll talk about an option on that side of things.
Right.
But if you feel strongly, I'm working with an Australian actress at the moment who she wants me to help her make a movie about a domestic violence situation that she herself experienced. So I'm not going to take it, chop it, rehash it, and because she still won't have got her story out there.
Right.
So for people who are in domestic violence relationships who want a realistic view of how easy it is to end up in something like that, and the battle that each woman goes through to leave that, then I'm going to give her story the integrity and the devotion that it needs to be told as she went through it. But yeah, I mean, if you've got a story about, car chases and drug dealing and stuff that everybody does, and it's like you really don't care about it, you just know it would be great visually for the big screen, yeah, we can talk about optioning it, and I'll fit that in somewhere on our slate,
Right. How many do you slate a year? Or what's your goal?
3 at the moment.
Okay.
But with people coming forward frequently with regards to crews, I'm hoping 3 years from now we'll be able to have 2 crews working full time, so we'll be able to up that to 4 or 5 movies a year easily.
That's great.
Very nice.
That's a good goal.
We have 39 that we really want to get made within the next 10 years.
Okay.
That's a possibility.
But that's
That's possible. I mean, anything is possible. That's the thing. And I feel like you have the drive.
I do.
Yeah. I think
I'm gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
It's gotta happen.
Yeah. There's, if you don't accept anything else, and even if it's a failure in your eyes, it's a challenge. It's not, okay, well, that didn't work out. Well, we'll do it a different way. Because there's got to be another way of figuring out a problem solved. That's it.
Well, yeah, I mean, one of the things that I had, and I'm sure most women in this industry, most women producers in this industry get this. You have a project, and you take it to your financier, and they're like, nobody's going to take you seriously unless you get a big name attached.
Yeah. What is that?
Okay. So I went away and I got a big name attached. I went back and they're like, oh, nobody will take you seriously unless you get a director. So I went away, I got a director. I go back and they're like, oh, nobody will take you seriously unless you get distribution. Knowing that it's impossible to get distribution before you've even made your movie.
Right. Yep.
No, it isn't. I got it. I took them the copy of the contract. I'm like, I have distribution. I have an A-list attached. I have a director. Now what? And they're like, okay, let's talk. So it's like knowing those hurdles.
Yeah.
Sort of knowing what needs to be put together in your package to take to the financiers. And a lot of them will kind of make you jump through extra hoops as a woman.
For sure.
Because they're like, like, is she really serious about this? Or does she need to rush home and deal with the kids?
Right.
I don't have kids.
Biting my tongue right now. Biting my tongue.
I don't have kids. Like, I waited. My kids are adults. So I did kind of put things on a back burner. But now, like, I can go out. I can stay out overnight. I can go film on some location wherever. I don't need to be there for them. They're doing their own thing. So, no, I'm not looking to rush home and deal with the kids.
Right.
I'm not having, I don't have to cook dinner for them. I don't have to do their laundry. I have to do what I want to do. And that is get these movies made.
That's great.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for that. I'm 110% behind that. And yes, absolutely, you do deal with that. We were just having a discussion because my name is Robin and it can be read as a male. I'd show up and they're like, oh, you're cute. You're supposed to be in hair and makeup over there, sweetie. And I was like, I'm smiling. I'm like, no. It happened recently. I was the DP on the feature, and one of the actors was like, oh, are you in hair and makeup? And I was like, I'm the director of photography. And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, yeah, it's okay. It happens all the time. I mean, that's the only way you can deal with it, right?
Yeah.
But at least you're being taken serious. It's kind of like, oh, you need this, this, and this. I have this, and this, and this. And that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as long as you continue to do what you're doing and keep pulling the, you know, strong women of merit around you up, that's what's gonna change this industry. Is women like you and women like you and women like me. Is like we keep pulling each other up. That's the thing, you know.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the groups on Facebook for female filmmakers, the fact that we're able to meet like in real life to support each other,
Yes.
to talk about our experiences, to make those frustrated noises because it's, oh my goodness, why won't they see this?
Right.
You know, to get people to see that yes, you can take us seriously. We can do just the same as the guys. We can do just the same as the major studios. It's like when I'm waiting to hear back from a couple of financiers this week because I'm like, when you go to them and you show them that, you know, you've got A-listers, you've got you've got somebody from the DGA on board, you've
Right.
got distribution before
Yeah.
your movie's even made.
Yeah.
How am I any different to a major studio? Why can't you fund me as easily as you could fund Universal's next whatever?
Right.
When, you know, I've shown you I've got exactly the same, I can provide exactly the same as them.
So what you're saying is we need a female-led studio. That's next.
I mean, she's
Well, I was going to say, let's hope Unicorn and Cobra Films is like big enough very, very
hey.
soon.
That's it. The other thing I'd like to say before we start wrapping this up is
it's that time.
yeah,
Always goes by fast.
yeah, it does. You mentioned music independently. I like, and please, anyone that's listening, there's got to be PR people, because PR people, if you're starting up or if you help people that are independent, like that makes a huge difference as well. Like the PR and it's not easy unless you're known. I know because like there's a lot of people that try to get the PR, or there's PR firms out there that charge a lot or whatever. Don't even take it if they don't think it's worth it to them. But because of who's attached or who isn't attached, I think that we need that next. I think we need to find independent PR people or independent PR firm that specializes in this, because I think that'll also make a huge difference. You know, and I'm hoping that there's someone out there that's listening that could say, like, I do PR, like I like to help out. Like, no, seriously, because I see it a lot recently where these filmmakers are trying to put out their project or whatever. No one wants to take it like even if they get distribution, even if it goes to the film festivals, it's a lot of work on the filmmaker themselves doing the PR themselves. Imagine if you have someone that knows the ins, you know, knows certain people, knows contacts directly and says, don't worry, I'll get this out there. You know, that's what we need. So with that being said, why don't you tell us where we can follow you, where we can find you, Instagram, all social media, websites. Give us a
Yeah,
list.
that's it. I mean, just look for Unicorn and Cobra Films if it has that logo.
Okay, the Unicorn and the Cobra.
It's mine. Yeah, so Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We have a YouTube channel, website. You can find us on IMDb. You can look at me on IMDb, Sarita Callender. My company, Unicorn and Cobra Films, under production companies. We're out there. We're doing our thing.
Awesome.
And obviously, if we can help connect you to somebody you need for your project, reach out to us. I do know a lot of people. Yeah, I'm not going to like constantly drop names on a show like this.
No, of course.
But if you need crew, if you need cast, if you need help with securing locations, I don't approve of guerrilla style filming.
Right.
It can get people into a whole lot of trouble, so let's not do that. If you need help with the location at an affordable rate, let me know. I have connections to a number of sound stages.
Okay.
So yeah, if you've got a couple of pieces of your jigsaw missing, reach out and I'll see if I can, if I have them in my box.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Robin, Brendan, thank you for being here on this awesome Sunday.
Yes, thank you. Have a great week.
Sarita, thank you for being our guest.
Thank you for
We didn't even
inviting
get the
me.
history lesson. I'm so mad.
But here's the thing. We
next
want you
podcast.
back. We want you back because you're going to be making this film in January. You're going to start filming.
Yeah.
When you're wrapped, come back and let's talk about how it went, when we could see it so we can start promoting it, and we'll go from there.
That sounds fantastic.
All right. Thank you again. Everyone have a safe and happy Sunday.
You're listening to Female Filmmakers Fuse with Alexa Polar, only on LA Talk Radio.